Yep, and you should probably pull up your Limitless, unless
Yeah.
you've already done so.
Yep. Yeah, I got it up right now.
But
All right. Let's do it.
got him!
Okay. We're back on the channel doing a new video with my friend Jay here. What's going on, Jay?
Hey guys, what's going on? Glad to be here. The cohort. Your cohort.
That's right, co-host. So we're gonna be ranking every Pokemon V card that has come out to date. All the V cards from Sword and Shield base set to Darkness Ablaze. We're gonna be ranking these cards not based off their VMAX forms, just purely based off their Pokemon V forms. And we'll do a video in the future of all the Pokemon VMAX cards, and we'll be ranking those as well. They're not in order right here, but we're gonna go through them in order. So like the first V card that came out was in the first set was Celebi V. So Celebi V, it's got 180 HP. Its attack, line force, second attack, grass energy, and a colorless. 50 damage, and then 20 more for each damage on your benched Pokemon, for each of your benched Pokemon. So definitely not going to be hitting too hard. That first attack for grass energy, find a friend. Search your deck up for 2 Pokemon, and then reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So you don't even get to put those Pokemon onto your bench. It's got a retreat cost of 1, but just doesn't seem like a great Pokemon. What do you think?
No, it's just not a great Pokemon. Like you were, like the point you just had there with you can only put that card or those Pokemon into your hand. That really sets it back.
Right. I mean, I don't know if I want to put it straight into D tier, but I think that it might just belong in D tier. We can move it up after, though.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. I don't believe it goes any further than C, though.
All right. Next up, though, Delmise V. This one's got 220 HP. First attack, Anger. Oh, it's hard to say. 30 damage plus if any of your grass Pokemon were knocked out by damage the last turn, then this attack does 90 more damage. So if you came in for the revenge attack, it can get up to being 120 damage for 1 energy. It can be kind of decent.
Right.
Definitely not too bad. And then second attack, 2 grass energy, a colorless, 200 damage, and then you can't use this attack during your next turn. So not terrible, not great. You're knocking out some Pokemon V, but not all Pokemon V. I think you would really be running this Pokemon for that first revenge attack.
Yeah, and this isn't a card you're going to be using as like a main attacker. I don't see this being any better than C, if not D.
You know, I'll put it in C for now. I think it's got better attacking potential than Celebi and more HP, so I think it's a bit more viable.
Yeah, and then that revenge attack, it's only for 1 colorless or 1 energy. Sorry.
Yeah, 1 grass. Yeah, so definitely something you can throw in there and kind of finish off a knockout. Next up, though,
Moving right along. Yeah.
we got Torquel V is the next one. 210 HP on this guy. He's got a retreat cost of 4, which is pretty high as it goes, I'm pretty sure. First attack, 2 fire energy and a colorless, 90 damage plus discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If that card, or discard the top card of your deck, if that card is a fire energy, then it does 90 more damage. So 3 damage, or 3 energy for 180 damage. Just isn't that great. With Oranguru, you can consistently do that attack with the energy on the top of your deck, but
Right.
you're discarding it every time, so it just doesn't really seem that great at first glance. Second attack, though, 3 fire energy and 1 colorless, Steam Crush, does 120 damage, and then discard 2 energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So definitely can have some use there. I guess if you can somehow just get the 4 energy on Torkoal and then consistently discard 2 energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, can be somewhat annoying. But if you're going against something like this, I guess you just would set up a Pokemon on your bench and then come in and just get the knockout. So
Yeah, and I just think it costs a lot. I think you're looking at a lot of energy, retreat cost. This isn't something that you're going to want to really play with.
yeah, I'm going to put that one down in D tier. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. D tier it is. Next up is Victini V, so a decent little Pokemon here.
Personal favorite of mine.
Yeah, it's got 190 HP. First attack, Spreading Flames. Doesn't do any damage, but for 1 colorless, you attach up to 3 fire energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way that you like. Definitely a good card to kind of bring in mid to late game when your Pokemon have been knocked out. You have 2 prizes to spare, and you just sort of want to set up that last Pokemon for your last knockout. Got a retreat cost of 2 also, so Air Balloon is free retreat. I like that first attack.
Oh, I do too.
Definitely can find some use in that. I know some people run this with like Heatran GX or any other sort of fire type VMAX or tag team Pokemon. The second attack though, Energy Burst, 30 damage times 30 more for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. So I guess if your opponent has a Pokemon in its active spot with a ton of energy onto it, then it does more damage.
Or yourself. Yeah, or yourself, considering this is a fire Pokemon, you're running this with Welder, so you can attach, some energy, some serious energy on this Pokemon and get high attack.
Right, and can even be a decent revenge attacker in its own right.
Right.
I think it's a pretty good card. I think it definitely has some value. I'm going to put that in B tier.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't think it's A tier, but I honestly, I couldn't put it in C tier. It's a decent card.
All right. Next up is Lapras V. So, 210 HP, retreat cost of 2, which is nice with Air Balloon. First attack, Body Surf for 1 colorless, no damage, but you attach a water energy from your hand to this Pokemon, and then if you do, you switch it with one of your bench Pokemon. Again, definitely has some synergy with Frostmoth, being able to attach an energy, put it onto your bench, and then have a Frostmoth to put more energy onto it, because it has to be on your bench to use Frostmoth, so not terrible there. And then second attack for 3 water and a colorless, 210 damage, and then put 2 of those energies back into your hand. So, 210 damage for 4 energy isn't great. It's definitely a card that you're supposed to be using with Frostmoth. But, of course, you play this card for the VMAX. I don't know if its V card is that great. What do you think?
I don't like it. I really don't.
I don't love it either.
I think you can get, some sort of usage out of this card, more than Celebi and Torquel. So I think for that matter, it's a C card. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the Lapras V.
Yeah, I agree. You're knocking out some VMAXs, some Pokemon V. And again, it does have that good synergy with Frostmoth, but since it kind of relies on Frostmoth, I don't think it's a great card. Next up, though, Keldeo V. So, first attack for 1 water energy, 40 damage. Not too important, not too impressive. Second attack, though, Secret Sword for 3 colorless energy. Does 50 damage plus 30 more for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So, assuming you have all 3 of those energies as water energy, then you're doing, what is that? 140 damage for 3 water energy. I guess it goes higher than that. You can increase it with the more water energy you have on it, but it's only got 210 HP, so it's not living that many rounds, that many turns at least, and just doesn't really seem that great to me.
Seems about a C tier.
You think C tier?
Yeah, I don't think it's terrible.
I guess it has some knockout potential, and since, if you're running it with Frostmoth, which you're probably intended to do, then you definitely can get that damage up to get some one-hit KOs on some V Pokemon. So, I guess we'll put it in C tier. I guess on paper it's not much worse than Lapras, so we'll put it in C tier. Next up,
I had to convince you there.
You did a little bit. I don't love the card, but I suppose, it has potential. Next up, though, we've got Topokuv V. So, 200 HP, free retreat cost, which is definitely awesome. First attack for 1 lightning energy does 20 damage, and you draw 2 cards. So, not a terrible first turn option, but we'll look at Boltund V in a little bit here, which is a much better option to start the game.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's the card, that's the card you're really looking for.
Right. That second attack for 3 lightning and a colorless, Thunderous Bolt, 200 damage, and then during your next turn, this Pokemon can attack. So 200 for 3 energy isn't terrible, but again, you're not really getting the knockout on most V cards there. I don't see that attack being super useful. I know some people try to run this with ADP, but it just doesn't really work out too well, I don't think.
No, and you can work around the this Pokemon can't use that attack next. Especially with this Pokemon having no retreat cost.
Right, exactly. So I mean, as long as you can just free retreat out the next turn, and then you have some sort of switch card you can run, whether that's a Malamolana or a Bird Keeper or just a normal switch card, you can consistently do that 200 damage every turn. And I think that's the only thing saving this card from not being in D tier. Personally, I think it's a C tier card.
Yeah, I mean, I like the card a lot. I think it's a B tier, but it's not it's not terrific.
It's not. I mean, I guess since right before rotation, you had Electro Power, so it was a lot easier to get those knockouts.
Yeah, those fast knockouts. Yeah, saying against like Jirachi or maybe a Dedenne here and there.
Right. So, I think post rotation without Thunder Mountain and without Electro Power, it's definitely took a big hit. So I feel comfortable putting that.
A lot of electric Pokemon and electric decks will be taking a huge hit.
Yep, definitely. Next up, though, we have more Pekko V. 170 HP, terrible. First attack for Spark for 1 colorless, 20 damage. And then it does also 20 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. It's better than just doing 20 damage, but not an attack you'd ever want to use. And honestly, not really.
Where would you play this, really?
Yeah. Right. I mean, you play it, I guess, to get into the VMAX, but even the VMAX isn't great. And then that second attack, Electro Wheel, 2 Lightning Energy and a colorless for 150, and then discard an energy from this Pokemon if you do switch it with one of your bench Pokemon. Just really not a great Pokemon. Doing 150 for 3 energy is pretty terrible, and that first attack isn't great either.
Yeah, I think this is a solid D tier, Natty.
Yeah, me too. I'm not feeling more Pekko. Next up, though, is Wobba Fett V. 220 HP, which is pretty good. First attack, Gritty Comeback, 2 colorless energy, and then you get to switch all damage counters from this Pokemon with your opponent's active Pokemon. Definitely is a bit more viable now that Toughness Cape is out. But that still, again, only brings you up to 270, which a lot of VMAXs can knock you out at that range. Plus, you're weak to Dark type anyway, so living a hit from
taking you right out.
Right, Eternatus is definitely a huge threat. So, not something that I think really would see a lot of play or should see a lot of play. That second attack, though, 2 Psychic Energy, Shadow Bind, does 70 damage, and then during your opponent's next turn, they cannot retreat. I guess that's not a terrible effect. We've seen it before.
Yeah, it's got some sort of niche value.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it does something at least, but 2 energy, 70 damage just really doesn't make the cut, no matter what way you slice it. I want to put that.
Where are we putting this?
I want to put it in D tier. I just don't think anyone should ever play this card.
Well said.
All right. At least not nowadays. I mean, when it came out, I guess you could have tried to do something with it, but.
I know I was playing a lot when it first came out, but I also didn't have a whole lot of attacking Pokemon.
I mean, when it first came out, right, you could put Big Charm onto it, gives it 250, and then you're living a hit from Zacian, and then you can do Gritty Comeback and then get the knockout on Zacian, but I just don't think it's
right.
That great.
But since base set, Sword and Shield base set, there's been some changes.
Yeah, right. Some things have gotten a little different. Next up, though, is going to be Indeedy V. So 180 HP, 2 retreat cost of 2. It's got the ability, though, watch over. Once during your turn, you may heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon. Its attack for 1 Psychic Energy, 2 colorless. Psychic does 10 damage plus 60 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So I guess for 3 energy, you can pretty consistently be doing like around 190 damage. But 3 energy for 190 still isn't that great, but you wouldn't be using this Pokemon to attack anyway. You're going to be using it for its a healing ability.
Yeah, for it to sit on the bench and heal your Pokemon 20 damage here and there.
Right. I think the healing ability has some use. I mean, I think once that Gardevoir VMAX card comes out, I think in Champion's Path, along with the Mysterious Can, that whole deck archetype's going to actually see some play. So I think Indeedy in the future we'll definitely see a little bit of play, and I think that ability isn't terrible. And again, has the
tier.
yeah. I mean, I think C tier definitely. I think in the future, or I think even right now, it has some potential to get some knockouts. So definitely better than those cards in D tier. Then we have Reggie Rock V. Reggie Rock V. So 220 HP. First attack, Raging Hammer for a fighting energy and a colorless. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So I guess at the most it's doing 210 plus 30, so 240 damage, which can definitely get the knockout on some Pokemon. And then you can run Toughness Cape on this thing. But, I mean, it's not terrible, but I don't really see it ever working out for you. You know what I mean?
You want this in play, to try and rack up damage. You really don't. You're gonna end up giving your opponent 2 prize cards.
Exactly. Honestly, you probably will. Second attack, Rocky Tackle for 2 fighting and a colorless, does 190 damage, and then it also takes 30 damage to itself. So that second attack is definitely, I think, a lot worse than the first attack, but that first attack still isn't that great anyway. And then also, fighting energy or fighting type Pokemon don't really have any way of accelerating energy that great. We do have Turbo Patch now, I suppose, but or tree cost of 3. I think it's not really making the cut. I mean, I guess you can make a case that it's C tier, but I would rather put it in D.
I would too.
All right, we'll put it in D tier.
The only thing that most fighting type cards are going to have is that a lot of stuff is weak to it, and that right there. But right now, you're not going to see a lot of play.
Right. I mean, that card could be fairly decent, right? If it had like 230 HP, then with the Toughness Cape, it'd be living a hit from Eternatus. And then, of course, with that Revenge attack, you'd be hitting more than enough to one-shot Eternatus VMAX. So it's just like right on the cusp of being like a really, really good counter card.
Yeah.
But it's got that 220 HP, and that's like right below the threshold. So can't say it's gonna see much play or be very good.
And for that, I'm out.
Great. I am out. Next up is going to be Stonejourner V. So 220 HP on this also. First attack, Guard Press, 40 damage during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 20 less damage from attacks. So I guess in theory, you can put the Toughness Cape on it, use that first attack, and then you're living a hit from any kind of VMAX Pokemon. I guess excluding Charizard VMAX. But second attack, Mega Kick for 3 fighting only does 150. So definitely a terrible second attack. If that second attack was even like 170, 180 damage for 3 energy, right, then it would be able to get those 2-turn knockouts on Pokemon V, but really just it can't do anything that you want it to do.
No, for that I think it's a D tier.
Yeah, I think that's
a long time with Reggie Rock.
Yeah, I think that's a comfortable D tier V Pokemon. I like Stonejourner; it's a new Pokemon, but
I do too. Yeah, it is. It's a good looking Pokemon, but the card itself, not good.
Not good. I don't think so either. Next up, though, Sableye V. So only 170 HP on this guy, but we play it for that second attack, which is Crazy Claws. 10 damage, and then does 60 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. Of course, you run this, or you would run this with Galarian Zigzagoon, Galarian Obstagoon, try to place those damage counters, and then get the big KOs on even the biggest of Pokemon. That first attack for 1 Dark Energy, no damage, but you pull a trainer card from your discard pile into your hand. Really not great. I guess it's something you can use if you need to, but you're definitely not living a hit most of the time.
Yeah, it's not super useful. You can use this card, but yeah, like you were saying, it's not very useful.
It's not very useful, not very great. But again, it does have that crazy KO potential. So I think putting that in C tier is probably for the best. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
All right, that's good. Good that you agree. Next up, though, is Zacian V. So, I mean, I'm comfortable saying this is the best V card to come out. Probably one of the best two-prize Pokemon to ever be released. It's got 220 HP, which is very solid on a V Pokemon. It's got the ability Intrepid Sword. Once during your turn, you may put the top three cards from your deck, or you look at the top three cards of your deck, and then put any basic metal energy cards that you find there onto this Pokemon, and then just put the rest of them into your hand. After you do that, your turn ends. I know a lot of people run this card just for that ability. It's great draw support. And then if you're running this just to attack also, then it's great energy acceleration.
Yeah, I'm in love with this card, man. I mean, from the moment it came out, it went top tier right away.
Yeah, and it'll probably stay up there too.
And it was almost, comical because, you the first base set of Sword and Shield, you get one of the best cards in the format.
Right. I mean, they didn't sugarcoat it with Zacian V, and it's funny too because all of these other V Pokemon that we've just looked at compared to Zacian V, like, are all pretty terrible.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If compared to this card here, they're all deep.
Yeah, I mean, especially like taking a look at that second attack. It's got Brave Blade for 3 fighting energy, or 3 metal energy, does 230. So by far the best 3 energy attack we've seen so far on any V Pokemon. But it can't attack during its next turn, but its retreat cost is 2. Obviously works with Air Balloon. Easy to switch in and out between your Zacians, and just attack turn after turn for 230. Not to mention how well it goes with Arceus Dialga Palkia GX, which can boost that up to 260 and then take multiple extra prize cards while one-shotting any Pokemon V in the format. So easily, absolutely amazing card. So I think,
yeah, you can't reiterate enough how easy it is to get yourself 3 metal energy.
Right.
With all the tool cards that you have right now, Metal Saucer, the fact that Intrepid Sword is, looking for it. It's just, this is a great card.
Right, and now you have Turbo Patch also, which works with Zacian V. It does everything you need it to and more. So I think it's the epitome of a perfect Pokemon V card, and that's going to go right up in S tier.
Yeah, we needed that card. We were dealing with too many D tiers.
Yeah, definitely. But next up, though, is Zamazenta V. So when it came out, a pretty average card, but now that some of the best decks in the format have become Pokemon VMAX decks, definitely an incredible card. It's got 230 HP, which is tied for the most out of any Pokemon V. Does still get knocked out by Zacian, but that's okay. It's got the ability Dauntless Shield, so it prevents all damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon VMAX. So pretty much immune to all Pokemon VMAX's attacks. And then it's got that attack for 2 metal and a colorless Assault Tackle. Does 130 damage, and then you get to discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon as well. Right now, a card that's getting better and better as the format goes on, or as the format evolves, more VMAXs come out.
Right. When this card first came out, it was like sneaky good. You knew it was going to be good. Just, at the first time that it came out, though, there just wasn't a lot of VMAXs. But now it's just, there's only going to be more and more.
Right. Also another card that pairs perfectly with ADP's ADP Tag Team. And then it also has the retreat cost of 2, so being able to switch in and out between Zamazenta and Zacian with Air Balloon, and it does also everything you need it to. Again, it's going to get better and better as time goes on. I think eventually it might be in the S tier, but I think right now it is probably like a top of A tier card.
Yep, that's a safe bet right there.
All right, awesome. So two great Pokemon after a bunch of duds, but.
Yeah, 2 right in a row. We needed that. I'm feeling good.
Feeling good. Next up is Snorlax V. So 220 HP. It's got an attack Swallow for 3 colorless energy, 60 damage, and then you get to heal from this Pokemon the same amount of damage that you did to your opponent's active Pokemon. Again, not fantastic attack since you're probably not living a hit from probably the better V and VMAX cards in the format. Healing 60 damage just won't be a big deal. So you're going to get 2 hit knocked out anyway. It's got a retreat cost of 4, which just is a very big hindrance to this card. Also, the second attack for 4 colorless energy, falling down, you do 170 damage, and you're now asleep. So absolutely terrible second attack, and the first attack isn't very great either.
Yeah, absolute buzzkill, absolute dud.
It really is. I'm putting that straight into D tier. What do you say?
Yeah. I mean, if you think it goes any higher, you're crazy.
honestly, Next, though, we have Kramer NV, which is a very cool card. So
It
it's
is.
got, yeah, so it's got 200 HP, first attack beat catch for 1 colorless. Search your deck for up to 2 cards, and then put them into your deck, any 2 cards, and then shuffle your deck. So definitely a good card to start the game with if you just need that. If you need that item card or that supporter card, or an energy, whatever you need to start the game, Cramorant can find that for you. Um, and then it's only got a retreat cost of 1, which is also very nice. And second attack, though, Spit Shot. So for 3 colorless energy, you discard all the energy from this Pokemon, but you get to do 160 damage to any one of your opponent's Pokemon, and that includes their bench Pokemon. So
Yeah.
Definitely really good for sniping those Dedennes on the bench, and really finishing up any KOs for any Pokemon that your opponent retreated onto its bench. So definitely a really useful card, and a card that you see a lot in pretty much every Welder deck.
Yep.
I like it a lot. I'm gonna put that in B tier.
Yeah, I think that goes right in the B tier with Victini. You know, this card actually just for the spit shot attack, that right there helps in my book.
I agree. I know I don't know how long we've been recording, but I think splitting this up by the 3 sets would probably be best. So let's wrap up this portion of the tier list, and then we'll get right into doing Rebel Clash and then also Darkness Ablaze. What do you say?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Stay tuned for the next rendition of the tier list Pokemon V cards. So we're going to be doing Rebel Clash in the next video, then Darkness Ablaze after that. So if you like the video, press subscribe, and stay tuned for the next videos to come out. Hit the like button if you like the video, and comment below where you think we went wrong placing these Pokemon.
Yeah, please, guys. We want to hear your feedback. We encourage comments, and we will interact with you guys as much as possible.
That's right.
Till next time.
Till next time. See you later.
See ya.